Well, hello there. How are you? I hope you're having a good afternoon. It's wonderful here. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. You can probably hear in the background. Today's Parsha is Parsha Korach. Okay? Let's tell you a story. I love these stories. Okay? Korach was a very successful man. He went to all the parties. He knew the right people. He was educated at the best university. He was a man of respect amongst his peers. And he was on many board of directors, including the Levi board. The stockholder meeting was taking place this very day. And Korach and the other board members all filed into the hall for the meeting. As the leader of the company got up to give his address, Korach raised his hand and asked to be heard. Surprised, but always the gentleman, the leader told Korach to make his presentation. Korach got up and spoke directly to the members of the audience. He loudly denounced the leader's abilities to lead and even went as far as to question his moral authority. All that was heard throughout the hall was a loud gasp from the audience. The leader just looked at Korach with hurt in his eyes. All he was summoned to say was, "Why are you doing this?" Korach glared at the leader and he announced that we feel that you don't deserve your leadership position and we don't recognize your right to lead. We, the leader grasped. With 250 stockholders also stood up and stood with Korach. In unison, they all said, "Yes, we agree." This was a total shock to the assembly, and especially to the leader who had spent many hours with Korach working, studying, and planning. Finally, the leader found the strength to say, "When did you all make this decision?" "It's been brewing for a while," said Korach. Nobody said anything. Korach and the leader just stood there staring at each other. Finally, the leader issued a challenge. "Let's ask the company founder her opinion on this. If she agrees with you, I leave. If she agrees with me, all of you are gone." Korach and his backers smiled and said, "Bring it on." The company founder was sitting in her seat, listening to the entire exchange, absolutely horrified by what she was hearing. She wanted to purge them all from her sight. She stood up, looked at Korach and his followers, and just pointed towards the door. She was so angry she couldn't speak. All she could muster was pointing. Korach started to speak, and she just held up her hand and pointed towards the door. All the audience heard was a swoosh, and all 251 of them were gone, as if they were never there. The founder turned to the audience and glared over the room. The leader ran to her side and asked what she was about to do. She wanted to be rid of all these fools. All the thousands assembled could go as far as she was concerned. How could 250 gossip and plan such a result without the rest of the audience even knowing? The leader begged her to reconsider her position. "Don't blame everyone for their actions," he begged. Still furious, she gave in to the leader's request, but warned everyone in attendance that her patience was sorely tested. The leader took back control of the meeting. No one wanted to speak about or acknowledge what had just happened, and no one wanted to challenge the leader anymore. So what just happened? Well, in modern terms, we call it a hostile takeover. a revolt, a challenge to the leadership. How could the Korach gather his supporters without anyone knowing? How could such a well-planned revolt happen without Moses knowing something was afoot? This could be the most puzzling issue with Parsha Korach. Korach is a Levi, just like Moses. He is in Moses' inner circle and very well connected and respected. Was Moses being blind, or was the conspiracy that well conceived? How could Korach be so sneaky and underhanded? Now think about it. Think about the modern world. Think about what we're going through. Okay. How could the majority sit silently and let a minority ruin it for everybody? Isn't that what's happening here? Isn't that what we're being taught? Stand up. Hear something, say something. See something, say something. You can't just sit there blindly and go, oh, well, I didn't see that. Or no, I'll just discount that. Maybe, just maybe, we're being told, you see something, you have to say something. You can't idly be a bystander. It's our duty to stand up and be counted. To say, hey, we're not going to take that. It's not going to happen on our watch. Well, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed yourself. That's my story. You know I'm sticking to it. Hey, oh, look at that. Hi, how are you? A bunch of people are going across my screen. Love it. So, until next week, Torah Tuesday, I will bid you goodbye. Have a wonderful week. Have an excellent Shabbat. And I will see you next week for Torah Tuesday. Peace out.